My mother-in-law and I are not really the best of friends. That is me being subtle. She doesn't like me and has never liked me, no matter how hard I try. My husband's siblings say that she doesn't like me because I took her son away from her. That is so crazy. Aren't sons supposed to grow up and have their own families? Anyways, her husband left her many years ago. Not sure how long, but it was really a long time ago. My husband was her first and only son, so she pampered him greatly and had this special love for him. When I came into the picture, she didn't like it, which is why she mistreated me at the beginning of the relationship with my husband. The most annoying part was at the beginning of my relationship with my husband. We met, and she pretended to like me. She did that whenever my husband was around, but I got everything thrown at me whenever he was not there. Since we got married, she stopped trying to be nice to me. Before my husband, many times, he confronted her and told her that he was married to me. So she had to face it and treat me right because I was his wife, the love of his life. Whenever we had that conversation, he always had a fight with his mom. So I tried not to complain as much as possible just so I could keep the peace in the family. It's my birthday today, and my mother-in-law said that she has something special planned for me. I'm wondering if she finally wants to poison me so I can just leave her son alone. I'm just kidding. I'm curious to know what she wants to do. And I hope it turns out well. I'm honestly tired of feeling awkward around her or being the outcast when she's around just because I married her son. Her children are the friendliest, most considerate people I've ever met, so it's surprising how she's like that as their mother. They usually told her not to and tried to make me feel better when she did something to me. My mother-in-law texted me the address to a restaurant, and I got really excited. Maybe everything is going to turn out well in the end after all, and after so many years of tolerating and being nice to her, even though she was annoying. I wasn't planning on celebrating this year, so I didn't really buy any new dress or anything special. I found something nice in my wardrobe and paired it with nice accessories and shoes. My husband and I started getting ready to go. He is as surprised as I am. But we hope to have a wonderful time. I'm super excited for the evening. Let's see how it goes. I wonder who else she invited and how she came up with a plan. I also suspect my sister-in-laws put her up to it. I wouldn't be surprised if they did because they are the sweetest people ever and so different from their mom. I hope today's event is good, fingers crossed. We got there roughly 20 minutes earlier and did a quick scan of the restaurant and found my mother-in-law, but something was off. I knew only very few people there, and the table was almost complete. I brushed it off, saying maybe she had her own guests and the people I knew like sister-in-law and buddies were still on their way because we were earlier. Still, something didn't feel right, but I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt. As we approached the table, no one seemed to celebrate with me. My mother-in-law introduced my husband to the rest of the people at the table. She slightly acknowledged me by saying, "That's his wife." And that was it. I texted my sister-in-law to find out if they were on their way, but they did not know what I was talking about. In fact, they were surprised that their mother would decide to celebrate me on my birthday when she wished I wasn't even part of the family. Now, my palms were getting sweaty. I hope I didn't set myself up by agreeing to come. Why would I think a woman who didn't like me would go the extra mile to celebrate me? I think my husband could feel me getting tense because he held my hands and squeezed them under the table. That was his way of reassuring me that he was with me and we would be okay. The dinner felt really long, like it wasn't going to end. No one I knew came, And they were not invited either. No one even knew me at the table. Neither did they know that it was my birthday. There was a different celebrant altogether. The child of my mother-in-law's friend had her birthday as well. So everyone thought we came to celebrate with them. My mother-in-law said that my husband had not had time for her. So she invited him so they could spend quality time together. I was only there because I always followed my husband around. I felt really embarrassed. The most annoying part is that it didn't end there. I became the subject of a conversation. It was like all her friends ganged up to make me feel bad. They started asking me questions they knew I wouldn't have answers to. I think the celebrant felt awkward too. It was her day to enjoy herself with her friends, but her mother and her friends were making it uncomfortable for a stranger and spoiling the vibes. My husband and I excused ourselves and asked mother-in-law to come as well. She acted like she didn't do anything and asked me if I was enjoying the party and if it suited my taste. I was going to reply, but my husband did before the crowds formed. He asked her why she invited us to someone else's party with people we didn't know. He was really angry and raised his voice at her. That was the first time I saw him speak to his mom like that. She also started to raise her voice. My mother-in-law said that I was even lucky I got invited because it was the closest I would ever get to being celebrated. That ticked me off, and it hit hard because I have a personal story about being neglected as a child, which she knew about. I wonder if she deliberately planned everything to make me feel less of myself on my birthday. If that was the case, then she was worse than I thought. At this time, I couldn't hold myself back again. I told my mother-in-law that I was the best daughter-in-law she could ever have because I put up with her nonsense and haven't yet made my husband cut ties with her. I told her that she could have married her son if she didn't like me that much, since no one could have stolen him from her. I told her many things that shocked both her and me. As I spoke, I was so mad that I had no filter, and I didn't hold back on anything. I told her, and to anyone who cared to listen, what an awful person she had been to me since the first time we met. I was usually quiet when she did whatever she wanted to do, so this time I could tell that she wasn't expecting anything different. Now her friends and other guests at the birthday could hear everything I said to her. I wasn't trying to hide it or be quiet about the treatment I got, so they would know the kind of person that she truly was. My husband didn't stop me. Even though I was talking to his mother, he just let me let all my frustration out. I remember how excited I had been to meet his mom the first time. I thought if he was that incredible, his mom would be super as well because she trained him. I was shocked that she didn't like me. What was there not to like? After giving my mother-in-law all that she asked for, I apologized to everyone, especially the celebrant. I didn't mean to steal her birthday away from her. My husband and I then left, but before then my husband told her not to come back into our lives, that she had done enough damage already. She had some nerve doing what she did. He told her that he had tried to ignore how she treated me for years, but this was the last straw and she just went overboard. Over the next few days, mother-in-law kept trying to reach my husband, but he didn't want to be reached. She tried to use his sisters to get to him, but he had made up his mind. This time I didn't feel like I was destroying his family because he was cutting ties with his mother-in-law. She was just too much and thought that she could get away with anything. His sisters got to find out what their mother did, and they were also in support of my husband's decision. I have never felt more humiliated than I felt on that day, and to think that she picked my birthday to do that. I could have just had a pleasant time with my husband, which I wanted to do before. I had made reservations for us at one of our favorite spots. My husband thought we should decline his mom's invitation, but I was excited that she wanted to do something nice for me and maybe our relationship would get better. By that, I thought she was trying to make an effort, so I should try to. But I was wrong. So wrong. I wish I knew better. My mother-in-law didn't try to reach me, and I honestly don't care. I'm done being nice and trying to keep the family together. She brought this upon herself, on her own. We wouldn't be attending any family events that she would be in anymore because we are cutting all ties entirely from her. NTA, your mother-in-law played herself. She thought she would humiliate you, but she humiliated herself instead and lost her son. She should have known that she couldn't win because her son always protected you from her. ITA, you say that you have tolerated your mother-in-law for too long. How about leaving your family issues away from the public and sorting them out when you get home? Now you don't care if your husband cuts ties with his mother. I am beginning to wonder if you really cared in the first place.